Hey everyone, my name is Isaac Arthur and I'm from CODO Design here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I want to welcome you back to our series where we are diving into some of the topics, chapters, and theory from our new book, Craft Beer Rebranded. You can check this out and read it for free at craftbeerrebranded.com, as well as buy yourself a book bundle. This is a 180-page book and a 60-page companion workbook that will together help you navigate each step of your brewery's rebrand, from initial planning all the way through launch. So if you're a brewery owner, marketing director, and in-house designer, we wrote this book specifically for you. Again, craftbeerrebranded.com. And for today's video, we want to discuss some of the most common reasons and pain points we hear from breweries who decide to rebrand, plus an important indicator that you should not rebrand. So the most common reason that we hear from breweries who decide to rebrand is that your overall look is dated and does not reflect your core values. It is not uncommon for design to age poorly. You can't see this. I'm actually wearing Jinko jeans down here. If your brand identity was not professionally developed, or perhaps worse, maybe it was done in a superficial, trendy manner, the design and your overall look can begin to show its age quickly. And if you're a brewery that's making fantastic beer and you're growing and making exciting moves, this can inhibit your progress. So that's a big one. The next reason we hear is that you're making major changes within your portfolio. This can include expanding your portfolio. Maybe you're adding a seasonal series or a juicy line. Maybe you're getting into packaging for the first time, or a really common one is that you're transitioning from one format to another. So for example, this is actually really common. Again, a brewery will want to transition from bottles to cans, or from pressure sensitive cans to labels, or to printed cans, or something like that. And along the way, decide they want to do some housekeeping. Another one could be that your brewery is known as the X brewery. Let's say New Belgium, for example. You're known as the Fat Tire brewery. You're known for one horse or one SKU, and you want to let people know that no, we also have other beers. So that can be a reason to lead to a refresh as well. Another reason is that competition is leaving you in the dust. And we see this a lot with mid-tier breweries, you know, those folks that are in the 18-15 year range, or 8 to 15-year-old range, I should say, making anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 barrels a year. If you're riding a wave from initial success, but maybe you started to coast a bit on marketing, design, or branding for whatever reason, you can hit a sales plateau. And so what happens, we see this a lot, is that high energy startups will open up in the same region, will often position themselves against the established old guard. That'd be you. And these upstarts eat into your market. So their impact is exacerbated by the natural tendency amongst us craft beer drinkers to overlook our old standbys in favor of trying the latest and greatest beer. And simply put, these people are thinking of you less and less. And even more scary, there is a new cadre of beer drinkers coming of age that might not even have standbys for the first 10 years of their craft beer journey. They're just going to be trying new things. So it's going to be really challenging for people to cut through, breweries to cut through and make a connection. That's why refreshing can be important. The next reason we hear breweries want to rebrand is that you're expanding into new markets, or you're launching new markets, and you're facing stauncher competition. So breweries that are crushing it all over the country have solid branding and amazing beer. And if you're expanding into markets, you will instantly be competing with those outfits. And this can work both ways as well. Big time breweries can open up your market and bring the fight to your backyard. The next reason that we hear is that your website is not responsive and has not kept up with the needs of your business. This is kind of a small, I mean, the website isn't small, but a more tactical one. But this is along the lines of the packaging format change I mentioned earlier. You're wanting to update your site, and in the early stages of that process, you decide that the art direction itself needs to be fleshed out. You know, what does our website look and feel like? And that leads to a broader conversation. And this naturally leads to, what does your packaging look like, your messaging, your overall look and feel. And before you know it, you're discussing a much larger project than what you had originally set out to tackle. We've actually had several projects snowball into much larger engagements because of conversations just like this. So quick note on your website. Your website needs to be responsive. It needs to work seamlessly from a desktop down to a phone. Of course, everyone kind of knows that today. And it has to be easy for your team to update internally. You shouldn't have to know code. You shouldn't have to fuss with it. It should be easy for your manager to pull up his or her phone and just change hours or change a tap list, bam, right before the shift starts. So if people can't navigate your site on their phone, and instead have to go to Instagram to see what's on tap, you are going to be losing business to another brewery who offers their customers a friction-free mobile experience. And if you're doing tons of busy work also, I'll just keep talking about websites for a moment. If you're fielding donation requests, private event inquiries, mailing out gift cards, If you're spending a lot of time doing stuff, admin stuff that comes in from your website, you're spending time on the wrong things. So a purpose-built responsive website can solve all of these problems. It can free you up to do what you do best, whether that's communications, sales, or brewing great beer. Another reason that we hear breweries want to rebrand is that you feel like you are always reinventing the wheel. So we have heard from several breweries that it feels like they're always starting from scratch every time they go to name a beer or release a new SKU or host an event, or on and on and on, because there's no clear rule set in place. There's no brand foundation in place, and they don't know what logo to use or what colors or illustration style to go for, and it becomes exhausting. I'm sure some of you out there watching this video deal with this. You don't know what the next thing should look like. So preparing for launch of what should be a fun and exciting new product can quickly become overwhelming. And a rebrand can cure this, because by clearly defining your visual rules so you can kick out new beers, new merch, new sales material, new whatever, you can do this without breaking your back. And the final pain point that we hear breweries mention when discussing why they decided to rebrand, that's a large part of our brand strategy, is understanding the pain points and stuff that they deal with preceding this process. And this final reason is not going to be something you're going to see on a P&L. It's not going to be on a balance sheet. In fact, it may not even be said that loudly. We've had people whisper this to us before in meetings, and that is that you're self-conscious of your branding and packaging. Again, we have heard this many times, either sheepishly mentioned in a meeting or implied, kind of reading between the lines, as we begin working to understand our clients' needs. And sometimes you hear things like, I hate wearing our shirts to festivals and conferences, or our festival setup looks like garbage compared to everyone else, or maybe more sadly, I hate walking into new accounts with our cans. We hear that one a lot. And there is no reason to be shy about this. You care about the work you do, and you should want to put your best foot forward. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel proud about the brand that you own or represent, and a brand refresh or outright rebrand can be the first step down that path. There's certainly more reasons, and again, we hear similar things from breweries all over the world. It's interesting. A brewery in Australia will have the same pain points as a brewery in Ohio, so we'll set that aside for now. I want to touch on something important, which is when you should not rebrand. For those that may be kind of on the fence and thinking about this process. So whether it's subtle or overt, a rebrand signifies a change to your fans. If you're updating your look in an attempt to move away from something negative, let's say like a reputation issue, like a PR disaster, quality control issues, or something like that, without making core internal changes, your rebrand will fail, because people are too smart to fall for this. This is 2020. Just dated the video, but that's okay. This is 2020, and our bullshit meters are so finely tuned today, and they have been for the last decade, but especially today, that you can't really hide anymore, especially behind great branding. So newly designed packaging may grab someone's attention in a grocery store, but if that beer isn't great, or if you're still a shitty company, if the issues that drove you to kind of want to refresh, to get away from, if those are still there, you're going to lose the chance for repeat business from the people that bought that beer. So unless you have a solid foundation to build upon, that'd be great beer, strong leadership, living by your core values, a deep community involvement, and on and on and on. If you have those things in place, without those, I should say, attempting to rebrand is just putting lipstick on a pig. Or to put it into the words, or to steal the words from one of our recent clients, a great logo can't make a bad beer taste good. I like that. I would also offer that it cannot make a poorly run business more viable either. That's it for today's video. In our next piece, we're going to be discussing how and why you should redefine or define your brewery's core values, and why this is one of the most important and overlooked portions of the brand strategy process that we see in the beer industry. I want to thank you again for watching today. You should head over to craftbeerrebranded.com and buy your book bundle today. Again, craftbeerrebranded.com, and we will be back with you all soon. Cheers.